All right, so we get to the spot in the equation and we need to figure out how we get these final solutions. And so we have a couple different options. So option number one is to go back and use the quadratic formula. And so this is a quadratic equation. So a quadratic equation comes in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So in this particular case, our a value on our equation would be a number out here in front of x squared, and that's a 1. Our b would be the number that's in front of the x. In this case, that would be -3. And our c would be the number out by itself. And so our c would be equal to -35. And so what would happen at that point is the quadratic formula is -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus, oops, not. Let me hit pause for a second. I forgot where my tool is. Just like, I messed up. It's not 2, it's 4ac, and then all of that over 2a. And so what you get is going to be your x's. So we could do that process. That's a little bit longer. You basically plug that in and get through the thing. What I would do is I would just think about the idea of factoring. Like, how do we factor this equation? And so the quick and dirty way is that what I like to do is it's a technique that I use. It's called bottoms up, and it's just a procedure, and it's called product sum factor. And so when we have the ax squared plus bx plus c, our product comes from the a and the c. So our product is equal to our a times our c. Our sum is equal to our b. And then we look at the factors. So we look at the factors of a times c, and we figure out like what factors give that to us. So let's apply that. So in this particular case, we would say that our product would be our a value times our c value. And so our product would be -35, right? Because our a is 1 and our c is -35. Our sum is the b term. So our b term is -3. And then we say our factors. So we're looking for the factors of -35. And let's just think of it as 35, just for the conversation purposes. So we're going to call that just 35. And so in that case, my factors are 1 and 35. 2 doesn't go into 35. Just 3 go into 35? Nope, 3 doesn't go in. 4, nope. 5 and 7, yep. Let's see, what else? Got to be something else because it's got to come out to be -3. Oh, wait, it doesn't work. And it doesn't work because there are no factors that are going to give us the sum of -3. They're going to be decimals or fractions. And so this technique doesn't work. So back to the drawing board, that means that really our only way we can actually do this is with the quadratic formula. And so the process that I took you through is basically the process of like saying to yourself, what's the easiest way and what's the backup way? So we're back to the backup way. So we plug it in. So we get negative, right? So negative, and then b, which is also -3, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So -3 squared minus 4 times a times c. And that's all over under the radical. All of that over 2 times 1. Let me grab my calculator. Can't do that math in my head. So now I start simplifying. When I simplify something like this, I start on the left. I say 2 negatives make a positive. So that's going to be 3. Plus or minus. I go inside the radical, and then I'm going to use my calculator to do this. So I know that -3 squared is going to be -3 times -3. So that's +9. And then I have -4 times 1 times -35. So I plug that in my calculator, -4 times 1 times -35, and that comes out to be plus 149, or 140, excuse me. All right. And then on the bottom, I just have 2. So now my job is to simplify that. And so to simplify that, I go inside the radical and I say I have 3 plus or minus the square root of 149 all over 2. And now this is kind of, I think, where you're running, like you're like, okay, what do I do at this point? So at this point, it's all about how do we simplify that radical? All right. And actually, we have the answer in front of us. But like the tricky part about this is we have to say to ourselves, is the square root of 49? Are there any perfect squares inside of 149? And so we start off and we say, okay, let's think of the factors of 149. So 1 and 149. All right. 2 doesn't go into it because 2 is even number. So I'm kind of cheating. I'm using a tool that I can't show you how to use it. Let's see. So we're going to start at 0. Okay, so 2 doesn't go, 3 doesn't go, 4 doesn't go, 5 doesn't go, 6 doesn't go, 7 doesn't go. And when I say doesn't go, 7 doesn't divide into 149 evenly. 8 doesn't go, 9 doesn't go, 10 doesn't go, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Nothing else goes into 149. 149 is a prime number. So we can't factor it. And so remember back over here, we come here and we say that this is equal to x. So this is where your two solutions came into play. Because my two solutions are, I have x is equal to 3 plus the square root of 149, sorry about that, over 2. And I have x is equal to 3 minus the square root of 149 over 2. So just to be honest with you, this is a ton of algebra that you would have picked up in your college algebra class that you probably breeze through pretty quickly. So like this is kind of a tricky piece because it's like this is a high-end algebra piece that's stuck in the middle of this pre-calculus class that we have to be able to just do on the fly. And that's why, because this particular class in Hawks is a class that is meant to be pre-calc, they're not going to go in and show you how to do that factoring. So it's perfect that you reached out and asked this question. All right, so I'm going to send this to you. Take a look at it. Send me specific questions. There's really no shortcut around this. We do not have a tool that you can use that will solve this equation to do what we got for the two solutions. So you're just going to have to kind of practice that part of it to be able to get to the end of that particular problem. All right, hope this helps. Reach out when you have any questions. Thank you.